All right, and let me. All right, stocks 5150. CPI numbers just came out, and let's see what we got. What we got. What we got. We got us a large green candle wicked out up here at 58, 59, 49. So that's the initial read. That's the initial print right there. There it is. Keep in mind we got an hour before the stocks market starts officially, and then we'll know something. But for right now, that's the initial reaction from the CPI numbers. Let's see where they are. Let's see if we can find out where they are. If it's a beat or it's looking like it's good for whatever reason. So yeah, that's two greens close higher than the other one. That's positive. Yeah, it's definitely a gap up. So Goldman, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, BlackRock all rise in pre-market. And let's see what I can find out about CPI numbers. Okay, so CPI today, the previous was 315.66, the lowest, and the actual is 315.49. So it's down. Down is good. And why is down good? Down is good because maybe potentially the Fed that'll signal to the Fed that the market is weak and consumers are weak and maybe they won't raise interest rates. Yeah, so consumer price index increased to 315.61 in December from 315.49 in November of 2024. So that's actually an increase. So what does that mean? Now let's see. So it's actually up 315. Yeah, so it's up from 315.49 to 315.61. And I mean that's not a bad thing, but stock market is reacting positively in the pre-market. Although this could be just a gap up and set you up for a gap fill reversal, we shall see. We shall see. See, let's see what the people are talking about here. See what the talking heads are speaking about on this with the CPI. So we'll go to trade brigade.
At a point three there, it would certainly be helpful for the overall indications of inflation if this had actually seen like a point two. Unfortunately, I'm not sure you're going to see that. I'm not sure you're going to see that. And I can actually share a chart with you real quick. Let me pop this into the browser window. What do I want? What do I want? What do I want? There's a couple of things I want, but we'll start with this one. Let me add this up here. Where did it go? There it is. So here's a chart of the Zori, Zillow Observed Rent Index, versus PCE housing and utilities, right? So taking that subsector out of the actual print. Now, again, this is PCE, it's not CPI that we just got, but the point still stands, right? Which is that you can see that shelter inflation has completely, I don't want to say neutralized from the sickness boom over here. This is obviously where things got out of control, right? And it was just like, okay, raise rents and, there's massive inflation. This is what gave us basically 7% CPI on the headline. Now, the fact that this is completely unwound, but you can see is at a 12-month lag, means that once this bottoms, we should expect a 12-month lag. Now, where, of course, would that put you? Somewhere around September of 2024. Now, if you can see that from here to here, there's actually been a subtle uptick out of the Zori, which is, again, the observed rent index, then seemingly shelter inflation should be over with, done. I should say shelter disinflation should be over with and done. So I don't know necessarily that CPI print, if I just go back over here on shelter, is going to continue to drift towards, like, we'll probably never see a 0% month over month, which allows this to fall, of course, right? You're probably not going to see that just based on, I don't know, Jeff, I don't know if I'm a believer of that, just purely based on this chart right here. So anyways, that's what my research would indicate, at least, and we'll take it from there. I mean, if I'd love here's the deal, right? I would love to be proven wrong. If I'm wrong about this, I will happily be wrong. I would love it if you're correct. I would love it if inflation continued to just drop like a stone.
So inflation,
housing supply is technically rising a little bit, but it's not meaningfully rising, and also prices aren't coming down. And again, I've got.
So if inflation slowed down,
it's weird. It's almost like this guy does the research behind the scenes. Let me show you this.
A run up.
Let me show you this one here.
This might be
so this is a concept called the lock-in effect, right? And this is a chart that I had put together here that just illustrates the number of homeowners, the percentage of homeowners who have an interest rate lower than a certain amount, right? So 86% of 30-year fixed mortgages out there are less than 6%. Current is somewhere around 7%. So it doesn't make sense for someone to sell their house there. 76% of owners have a rate under 5%, 57% under 4%, right? So put it this way, more than half, more than 50% of 30-year fixed rate mortgages that are held right now are less than 4%. You're not going to see anybody selling their homes to try to buy something different. It's just not going to happen. It is absolutely not going to happen. So you've got the lock-in effect here as well. I'll give you one more chart here, and then I've got to sort of reserve the remainder of them for the actual 2025 Outlook report. But check this one out, right? What do you notice about this? The blue line is residential building permits, right? Residential building permits here and here, obviously, as interest rates are troughing, go through the roof. It's easy to build. It's profitable to build. As interest rates rip in the upward direction, and they're currently sitting somewhere closer to 7% right in here, building permits are technically down relative to this prior peak. So you're not going to get new builds coming online as new supply, right?
What do we have for?
It's just not going to happen. So again, all of this, suffice to say, is if we just go back to the CPI print we just got, shelter, I don't know that it's necessarily going to continue to contribute in the downward direction, and energy here makes sense as being one of the largest contributors in the month over month, sort of seeing that move, right, up 2.6% month over month there. All right, that's primarily what we care about here. There's what's another big outlier? This one in here. which is just piped gas service, which makes sense again.
If we get to 6,000 and we make it past 6,000, then we're cooking with grease. And Tesla, it's probably get to 420 today. And so it looks like a green day today. And then they'll pull it back and then yank it back up tomorrow. I mean, for Monday. All right, stocks 5150.